Wishing for money is universal, but simply hoping for a larger bank account is passive. The people who acquire wealth do something entirely different. They use a definite purpose. They force an abstract desire to solidify into a physical reality. In the next 5 minutes, we will construct your personalized version of a historical blueprint. It is the exact framework used by some of the most successful innovators of the 20th century to build their fortunes. Grab a pen and a piece of paper right now. Block out the next 5 minutes of your time and give this your uninterrupted focus. We are going to translate a psychological mindset into a physical, written document. Taking the thoughts out of your head and locking them onto a page is the required first step to actively controlling your financial trajectory. Step 1. Write down the exact amount of money you intend to acquire. Do not write, "I want to be rich," or "I want a lot of money." You need a concrete, specific number. Next to that number, write down the exact date or timeline for when you will acquire it. This combination of an exact amount and a hard deadline forms what we call your definite chief aim. It is the central organizing principle of the manifesto you are building right now. Now, write down exactly what you intend to give in return for this money. There is no such thing as something for nothing. You must clearly define the service, product, or value you will provide to earn that specific amount. Below that, sketch out a clear plan of action for delivering that value. Write down what you can do to begin immediately, regardless of whether you feel perfectly ready or not. Look at the pieces you have gathered. Now, combine the amount, the date, the value you will provide, and your plan of action into one single concise paragraph. By locking these specific variables onto a physical page, you've created a contract with yourself. When you face friction in the real world, this document prevents your mind from retreating back into passive wishing. Writing the plan is the physical requirement. The psychological requirement is a concept known as auto-suggestion. It is the mechanism you use to bypass your logical brain's natural doubts and instill absolute belief in your plan. Here is your daily physical routine. You must read your written statement out loud twice a day. Read it once as soon as you wake up in the morning and once just before you go to sleep. As you read it aloud, you cannot just passively recite the words. You must actively visualize and feel yourself already in possession of that wealth, delivering the service you promised. To see how this works in practice, look at Edwin Barnes. In the early 1900s, Barnes arrived in New Jersey entirely broke, with zero influence and no technical training. Yet he intended to go into business with the world's most famous inventor. Barnes didn't walk into the laboratory looking for a standard job. His absolute, unyielding obsession was to become the business partner of Thomas Edison. He accepted menial work at first, but in his mind, he was already Edison's partner from day one. Because his belief was strictly aligned with that specific goal, Barnes recognized an opportunity everyone else missed. When Edison's sales team rejected a new, awkward-looking dictating machine, Barnes volunteered to sell it. He sold it so well that Edison gave him a national distribution contract, making Barnes a wealthy man. Auto-suggestion is not a magic spell. It is a methodical rewiring of your brain so that you immediately recognize the opportunities that align with your written, definite chief aim. Once your brain is wired to execute your plan, you need psychological armor to protect it from the real world. That armor is persistence. When faced with heavy opposition or temporary defeat, the average person quits. The successful person interprets that same defeat simply as a signal that their current plan has a flaw, and they immediately begin rebuilding it. Consider the morning after the Great Chicago Fire. Local business owners stood on State Street, looking at the smoking ashes of their stores. The vast majority of them decided the loss was too great, and they left the city to start over elsewhere. But one merchant pointed at the ruins of his shop and announced that he would build the world's greatest store on that exact spot, no matter how many times it burned down. That man was Marshall Field, and his persistence built a retail empire that defined an industry. This difference comes down to a clear pattern. Leaders reach decisions quickly and change them slowly. Quitters make decisions slowly and change their minds frequently. This makes quitters vulnerable to skeptical opinions. If you let negative suggestions alter your plan, you surrender control. Go back to the piece of paper you wrote on earlier. At the very bottom, Write this one final sentence: a quitter never wins, and a winner never quits. By expecting and planning for temporary defeat in advance, you strip away its emotional power. A devastating setback simply becomes a standard, solvable data point. Look at the physical paper in front of you. You have just upgraded a vague wish for more money into a concrete plan, bound by a hard timeline and backed by a required daily action. You will face friction. Failure acts as an ironic test, peaking in intensity right before the obstacle finally shatters and yields to a massive breakthrough. Here is your final instruction. Take your written manifesto and tape it to your bathroom mirror or your nightstand. Read it out loud tonight before you go to sleep. Adhering to this physical document and your daily routine is the ultimate proof that you have stopped waiting for luck and taken absolute mastery over your own destiny.